Grand Rising family, is Shay Seeking, and this is Not Your Mama's Bible Study, along with a little bit of his story lied. Today, we're going to go ahead and look into the book of Revelations. Actually, I think I'm just going to um, make this about Revelations. It's about Revelations basically 17 through 18, I'll say, but we're just going to do today 17 and 9 and go down from there. So again, I had this ready for you guys a while back, but I lost some information on my PC. So I tried to kind of put it back together. Like when I'm on to something, I'm on it and I get an abundance of information. But if I stray away from it, and it's not anything that I do on purpose, I just have a lot of responsibilities around here. So if I stray away from it, it's kind of hard for me to put it back together because there's always something else. Okay. But again, we're going to go ahead and try to make this real clear, and we're going to go ahead and try to make this somewhat brief, which could take up to 30 minutes. I do ask that if you enjoy the content to go ahead and give a thumbs up or share the video as you wish. I call it Not Your Mama's Bible Study because this is not our ancestors' Bible study. Somewhere in the middle here, at some point in time, we lost our minds. To a certain extent. I'm not trying to be funny, but due to mass manipulation, mind control, miseducation, and so on. Okay, misnomers, all these titles and stuff that's been given. I think we've lost what it means to actually study the Bible. So again, I see things a little bit differently. Not to say I'm special or anything, but I just think the way that I internalize everything is just a little bit differently. And I don't want any man to or woman to deceive me. So again, anything I talk about here, you should do your own research. I am just trying to put out some information that I feel like I see something differently that may help out Aboriginal people. So yes, I do call these Aboriginal Bible studies, not to exclude anyone else, but I feel like so-called Negroes, Blacks, African Americans, can really take something from this because we have been the people, as like I always say, we have all been misled and deceived, but we have been deceived even more. And at the beginning of this, it doesn't really have anything to do with, I know it's shocking, but it does. Go back and watch my video about race if you disagree. But it's not, it wasn't always a race, and racism wasn't always about the color of your skin. It was about a race to the, what I would call a finish line, to power, political standing, and things like this. Okay. So while we're having our head in the clouds looking for a God there, I'm telling you that there is one that resides on this earth. And although you have a certain particular way of thinking, that he is working in your favor, this may not be the truth. And you may have been just led to believe these things, that this so-called God will be speaking to other people that are not you. Okay. And they have manipulated or constructed this thing where we have taken it on the way that they see it, not the way that we should be seeing it. I mean, this is just kind of like how I can tell you, but we're going to, just so we don't get too distracted, we're going to go ahead and go into this. So we were talking about the woman. Let's see. Let me see. Okay, all hate the woman. Okay. Okay. So again, I'm not sure if we're going to talk about the woman on the beast sitting on many waters. I'm not sure if we're going to talk about her in this little read here, but keep in mind we are talking about this in this chapter. So kind of things go kind of hand in hand. Okay. So again, I'm going to just go ahead. We're going to start with 9, but I just want to go ahead and read. Let's see. You know what? There's no other way to do this but then to go through 17. I won't read the whole thing. We're just going to go ahead and go through it just a little bit. Okay. So, sorry, I do have somewhat of a cold. So sorry for all the sniffling and my voice being different. Um, but okay, one of the seven angels who had poured out the plagues over um, and talked with me. Come here, he said, I will show you um, what is going to happen to the notorious prostitute who sits upon many waters of the world. Okay. The kings of the world have had immoral relations, okay, with her. And the people of the earth, when we're using earth on this channel, we are usually talking about Aboriginal peoples. They don't talk about Aboriginal people of the Americas, they talk about natives. Natives cannot be the original because native does not mean you're the original of anything. It just means you're connected to a place or a land or because you were born there. Okay, so that doesn't even make you indigenous, which means you're an offspring of the earth or the oldest people. Okay, which I would say would be maybe like a Puerto Rican or something. And we all have been lied to and misled about who we are and what's going on here. Okay, and they had to do this in order to do it for so long. Okay, so I would say somebody like a Puerto Rican or something would be someone that is indigenous. A Native American, they may not be indigenous. They may just be people that foreign people brought here by the Lord God or God to reign on the earth, which is the Aboriginal peoples. Why they disqualified and just tried to make so-called black people think that we came from Africa. And so it's very important. This all goes back to biblical law, everything. It goes back to your uh, heraldry. It goes back to your ancestry. This is all wrapped up in one on this channel. Okay, so um, again, those people were brought here for rain. Other people and foreigners were brought here too. But again, a native would just because they're using that term and I'm using etymology to explain it, those they don't have to be connected to the earth or the land. They just have to be someone that was born here. Okay. As far as an indigenous person, they are connected to the first peoples. Okay. As far as being Aboriginal, you are the earth itself. Anything else that is not you, that is indigenous, would be something that sprung from the trees or sprung from those particular people as like a sub race. Okay. Doesn't mean that they're lesser. I'm just describing it in terms that they use. Okay. So now that we got that straight, when we're talking about earth, really, it even says it in the concordance of the Bible that earth can be speaking of the inhabitants of a land. And if you look in etymology, those are the oldest people that were there first. Again, the whole slave trade was fabricated. Most of you guys have ancestors that were already here. Okay, so we were reading and okay, and so it says the kings of the world. Now, the world is not what you think it is, meaning like that globe that you see. The world is their situation that they've created on top of a prior or prehistoric nation and dissolved or got rid of the residue of those prehistoric people um, with miseducation. Okay. So it says, the kings of the world have had immoral relations with her, and the people of the earth have been made drunk by her wine or the wine of her immorality. Okay, so the angel took me in spirit into the wilderness. There I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet animal. Okay, um, let's see, with that had 7 heads and 10 horns, written all over her, written all over the blasphemies against God. The woman wore purple and scarlet clothing and beautiful jewelry made of gold and precious gems and pearls, and held in her hand a golden goblet full of obscenities. A mystery caption was written on her forehead: Babylon the Great, mother of prostitutes and idol worship everywhere around the world. I could see that she was drunk, drunk with blood of the martyrs of Jesus she had killed. I stared at her in horror. Why are you so surprised? The angel asked. I'll tell you who she is and what animal she is riding, what the animal she is riding represents. Okay. he is alive, but he was alive, okay? So meaning he was a living creature, possibly, but he is not. So he died. So either he actually literally died, or he fell from grace, or he was kicked out of the caste system, meaning that he was brought down to the earth for, because he came from the earth, okay? Which would probably be an indigenous person, okay? Because they had to go in with the bloodlines in order to claim some kind of leadership or rule or lands, okay? So it says, and yet soon he will come out of the bottomless pit and go to eternal destruction. And the people of the earth, meaning the Aboriginal people, whose names have not been written in the book of life before the world began, okay, before their world or the firmament was laid, or the foundation, okay, or establishment, okay, will be dumbfounded, okay, at his reappearance after being dead. Okay, so after he was being dead, and again, this could mean dead by law, it can mean an outcast, cast away, someone that descended, meaning was thrown down or taken out of a higher level position and placed down. Okay, now it says, and now think hard. His 7 heads represent a certain city. Okay, and I know she's not on, there's different depictions of this. This is just the one I have here. um we do start talking about a scarlet colored dress, and I would say this is more maybe that color. But notice that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 spindles on this head. Notice that it's adorned with some kind of necklace. This flourishing is the tentacles of that uh, what hydro or mm, of these so-called gods of creation that created these beings upon the earth, meaning upon the Aboriginal people, whichever way they got here, indigenous or native. Okay, so again, these are the creeping things, the flora and fauna, or the things from Genesis 1 that's talking about these grasses and stuff. You think we're talking about grass when um, we're talking about people, okay, seeding a nation. They use CED, but we know that they're talking about seeding, okay, semen, and also semen coming across the sea. So these the English language is very, and the dictionary is used to basically dictate how you interpret these things and give you your false perception of basically everything. Okay, so again, these are the flourishings, like I'm saying. So when we're thinking, we're talking about plants and animals in the beginning, we're not. We're talking about coat of arms, and all of the things that go together in these coat of arms represent these things. The waters, okay. When we look at the thing with the dome earth, okay. I think I did this already in a part of this video. And then the Sheol is underneath, okay. Compare that to the caste system, okay. We're going to talk more about caste systems in the future, and I've already talked a lot about them prior, okay. So it says, and now think hard. His 7 heads represent certain cities built on 7 hills. And then this already made me think about Capitol Hill or different types of hills in the governing force, okay, where this woman has her residence. And then it started making me think about Pelosi. Now, I started this and I did a post about it about a year ago just to kind of pin it to my memory on my Facebook. But, so I kind of threw together some stuff that kind of was on my mind when I was reading this chapter. Maybe I can pull it up later on and show it to you guys. It was like a collage of information. And then now we're kind of doing the same thing because it hasn't left my mind. Just this whole thing with the drama between her and Trump started this whole thing with me looking at it this way. Okay, now I don't know what her job is on the Hill, but I think that she is a speaker of whatnot. Okay, so they also represent 7 kings, 5 that have already fallen. So when we're talking about kings, for some reason, I am picking up the fact from doing research on that term being used throughout the test of time that we could be talking about presidents, okay, because they are secretly kings in their eyes, okay. And like God said in Genesis 1, he wanted to put someone there to preside. That's the same thing as president over the people, okay? Over the heaven, I mean, the waters and the earth. And that's not talking about somebody to control water or control earth, because nobody does that but itself, okay? Well, yes, they do have tools to do things and create hurricanes, supposedly. But again, you know what I mean. It was talking about it's more about admiralty law or maritime law controlling those foreigners that have been placed here, whether they're on the lower end of the totem pole or the top. Okay, the point is the Aboriginals have been put aside or cast away as outcasts, and you are the very platform that all of this is resting on. Okay, and when they're talking, they're basically talking over your heads in signs, symbols, codes, and different words and terms, using terminology to mislead people, okay, or so-called people, okay, because that's a whole nother thing. But he had they also represent the seven kings. Five have already fallen, the sixth now reigns, and the seventh is yet to come, but his reign will be brief. The scarlet animal that died in the eighth is the eighth king, having reigned before as one of the seven. After his second reign, he too will go to doom. His 10 horns are 10 kings who have not yet risen to power. So we're going to go ahead and look at these horns, okay? So how many horns do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You can go into the history and things about the coat of arms to find out that I'm not making this up, that this is actually how they use these signs and symbols to kind of rule over you, so they know exactly what this stuff means, possibly when they're reading this. You have been misled to think otherwise, okay? So, what does it say? Okay, the 10 kings who have not yet risen to power, they will be appointed. Again, when you think you're electing someone for president, you're not. Basically, they come up with the selection and you choose from that, but your vote really doesn't count. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so this is why I just don't. So I think that we're giving power to this beast system when we do. This is why they're always so concerned about what we're going to do. Like I said, but it doesn't. I think this is why they put so much emphasis on the so-called black vote. I'm going to say that first, and then the votes of other people as well. But mainly, they always cut out a section to be worried about what the so-called black vote is going to be. And if it were my opinion, knowing what I know now, I don't think any one of us should be voting, because I think that they're in some kind of tricky way, we're giving them power over us to continue to so-called rule over us in that. Okay. So let's see. They will be appointed to their kingdoms for one brief moment to reign. Okay. Remember, God hadn't let it rain on the earth yet in the beginning. Well, this is the reigning that we're talking about that has been going on forever, it seems to us. Okay. So, not yet risen to power, they will be appointed to their kingdoms for one brief moment to reign with him. So they're reigning with someone. They're reigning with someone, okay? Could this be that hidden hand that we say is behind the puppet that we call the president, right? That's calling the shots, okay? A society or something that it might be secret. They will all sign a treaty. Now, we're using the term treaty because we're in the Living Bible. The Living, but not the New Living, but the Living Bible keeps it all the way funky in 100%. Okay. This is why I think that most so-called black people are still faithfully in the King or Baptist or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Okay. are mostly still in the King James because it is the trickiest one to read, if you ask me. Okay, reading these Bibles helps me when I'm looking into the King James. Okay, so now we're talking about treaties. Now, if they were talking about treaties back then we may not be talking about that long ago. Okay, giving their power and strength to him. Together they will wage war against the Lamb. Okay, now we know that the Lord is the God of, or the Lord of war. Okay, so why would a God that cares about you and you, so-called Aboriginal and Indigenous people, have been affected by this God horribly? Why would you take on the thought process to look at this so-called God as a so-called Caucasian or foreigner, okay, that has been given all the glory in a sense, when they are the ones causing all the havoc on the earth and everywhere else? Okay, meaning the people and the natural resources. Okay, so you have to really wrap your head around this one and see what you're really dealing with, because I think that just like they said that the devil was going to mislead or deceive the whole world. Okay, so you think about that. um Okay, and he was going to not come but as light. And we have the morning star with Jesus, and we have the morning star with Lucifer or Satan or whatever. Everybody likes to wrap them up in one. I don't think we're talking about the same thing, but who knows? Okay, so it just it depends on how, I guess, you're looking at it. Okay, um wage war against the Lamb, and the Lamb will conquer them, for he is Lord over all lords. Okay, and King of all kings, and his people are called the chosen and faithful ones. The oceans, okay, lakes and rivers that the woman sits upon represents masses of people. See, the masses have been massively manipulated and deceived, right? Okay, represent masses of people of every race and nation. Now, if black is not a race and you have no nation because they've built their nation on top of yours, then who are we talking about here? Okay, go back to the caste system, go back to the pyramid. Okay, so again, oceans, lakes, we're talking about birthing, or birthing a ship, or birthing a nation, or birthing, you know what I'm saying, through canals. Listen to all this stuff right here. It might sound ridiculous, but hey, to each his own. Okay. Uh, okay, which represents 10, will reign with him. All hate the woman and will attack her and leave her. Okay, so again, let's just go ahead and finish this one up. Okay, it says the scarlet animal and his 10 horns, which represents 10 kings who will. Now again, this, I wouldn't call this an animal, but it's funny that, this is representing like a being or something. You know what I'm saying? And when it comes to knights and stuff, there's still a lot of mystery to that. Okay, but again, it's okay. This is red. You know what I'm saying? There's the gold coming out too, but I don't know. Okay, is this another thing here? Being, okay? That might be scarlet, okay? And I'm going to show you another one in a second, okay? So it says, let's just finish this, which represents the 10 kings who will reign with him. All hate the woman. They all hate the woman, okay? And will attack her and leave her naked and ravaged by fire. Okay. And this reminds me of a case that I think I still have pulled up here, where somebody named Hill. Okay. Okay. So where did Hill come from? And then this young lady's surname is Hill. I was looking up who sits on Capitol Hill, or any type of hills or whatnot. And it just so happens that Katie Hills, I think, is her name. I guess she resigned after Pelosi here, okay, doing the same thing as this woman on this thing, wearing gold. Not in this one, but again, around this time with the impeachment, you'll notice she was wearing a lot of red lip, And she had a lot of times she has gold jewelry on. Today, not so much. She just has this. This might be enough. But many other images that I've seen had her wearing gold. Okay. But she resigned after some nude pictures had come out. Okay. When we see even that Ham or whoever it was that uncovered the nakedness of his father, we're are we talking about a naked body, or are we talking about something else symbolic for something else? But in this case, like I said, it just seems so funny because it's like the world. Okay, the world is a stage. Okay, and this whole thing that's going on is uh they know what's going on. It's theater, it's rituals, it's all kind of things like this. So for hundreds of years they've been able to keep this under wraps and do use their media and their entertainment in order to symbolize things that, you know what I'm saying, even the news, things that will go over your head, but they know exactly what they're doing with their hand gestures and all these things that they do in front of you, and they laugh at you behind your back. Okay, so again, the fact that then this is how Pelosi, I believe, came into power. Okay, if I'm not mistaken, I didn't go all the way into it, but it seemed like from the clip that I was reading that what was going on, that this girl resigned because of the nude pictures. Okay, and then here we go talking about some nude. Okay, leaving her naked and ravished by fire. Okay, for God will put a plan into their minds, a plan that will carry out His purposes. They will mutually agree to give their authority to the scarlet animal, so that the words of God will be fulfilled. And this woman you saw in the vision represents the great city that rules over the kings of the earth. Now, we're talking about of the earth. There's many pictures that I found with her smiling and kikiing with people like 50 Cent, and like I say to you guys all the time, all brown skinned folk ain't our kinfolk, meaning that there are, even when we're talking about freedmen, I believe, I haven't done a thorough study on it, where I want to say this 100%. I haven't come to a conclusion, but I believe that a lot of these celebrities, okay, that get to a certain amount of fame are descent, or they are family members of some of these darker race people that were put in positions of power in the actual caste, the pyramid of the caste system. So again, they would have brown skin, but they would be the commoners and the servants and things like that, where again the aboriginals have been cast out of the whole thing. They are put under the ground or on the ground. Okay, and I believe that some of these darker view people that what have they done? All of the work that they have done, basically, when I'm talking about top A-listers and people that made it big, okay, worldwide. I believe that they come from bloodlines of uh, maybe the dark skinned Dutch, dark skinned French, the dark skinned whoever else that may be coming against the American Aborigines, okay, from the beginning with their brothers and sisters, Caucasian, Asian, foreign entities, period, okay? And I think that this is why they've done so many things to help. Okay, so we have to blame the company. We when it comes to foul music and everything, that we have to blame ourselves first if you're still listening to that garbage. Second, you have to blame the artist. Yes. Third, we never make it to this point to blame the labels and not support anything that these labels put forth because of the stuff that they have these puppets doing, because we don't know if these people there are such things as mind control and different things that have been done to the brain of certain people, CIA level secret stuff that has been done. So we don't know if these people are in their right mind. I'll just say that, in their right minds or not, right? We don't know if they have been caught doing something, and it can be, or they do rituals and things so that they can maybe use and record them and stuff, so they can use these things against the people and let them leak if these people don't want to comply. So again, I'm not saying any ill will to these people. I'm just putting out what I feel like I've seen over time. Okay. But I just don't trust it, okay? Because you couldn't pay me the amount of money if I could see what my work was doing to my people. You couldn't pay me. You just couldn't. If I knew that I was going to turn millions of people, being on this level of thinking, it just wouldn't happen for me, okay? a sellout, whatever they want to call it. Okay, Uncle Tom. Just think these things. Okay, so um, yeah, the great city that rules over the kings of the earth. Okay, and I don't know if this is that uh, secondhand Jerusalem that Trump has so much to do with right now today. Again, I can't always put everything together. I'm just bringing the pieces to the party. Okay. Um. So yeah, that I think that's it. Um. Let's see. Oh no, it's not it. So that's it with these images. Okay. So I can go ahead and maybe get rid of these. Okay. This is just stuff that I'm bringing forth because it just is interesting to me. Also, in Revelations, we're going to talk about somebody with a sharp sickle in their hand. All this stuff is when I looked up Nancy Pelosi's family uh, heraldry, things that wars and different treaties and stuff, things that they've been involved with. Not even just her, but her husband as well. I had to look up all of this. Even not even just hers alone, but um, let's say whatever so-called nationality they would be. Okay, is what I just went and pulled up a bunch of stuff about that. And then and then here's the two swords, or and then the moon and the star. Where I think I was reading about this in another chapter, maybe. Yeah, I just thought that it was decent. You can see that this bear is kind of like this is an older model. You can see that this bear is kind of like a reddish brown color. Also here, and I don't know about this. I don't think this is obscenities. I don't know what this could represent. Well, I don't know what he's doing to this flower. Could be about to eat it, but I don't know why. Like I said, I don't know. um, but this is an older model of this here thing. Okay. But this is of a certain I think family. Okay. Here's the scarlet colored for Poland. Um, um, Again, and there are scarlet colored beast here. Um, Again, when we're talking about the beast of the field, we're usually talking about something like a cow or something on the coat of arms. The lion would represent obviously the lion. The fiery dragon would represent. So when you look at a place and they start talking about something, look at the coat of arms, even for different so-called countries and different things like this. Okay, so again, we still are sticking with the scarlet colored. Nancy likes to wear a lot of pearls. I noticed that I think it might have said something about pearls here, or maybe it was something else that I was reading in. But again, I look at this as waters, but then also it kind of reminds me of woman, and even like it in this thing right here, kind of has that same kind of shape, but that might be stretching a little bit. Okay, so or reaching or whatever. Okay, so I want to go ahead and look at a couple of these that I have pulled up. No, let's look at this. Okay, so when I put in 7 hills, I was trying to find out something. Here we go with Gnostic warrior. I don't know. It says during the final persecution of the Holy Roman Church, Peter, the Roman will rule, feeding the flock through many tribulations. Da, 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 da. Okay, known as Rome, was built on 7 hills or mountains. But did you know that Washington, D.C. was also built on 7 hills? Okay. Yes, D.C. really does have 7 hills: Capitol Hill, blah, 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 Forest Hill, Hillcrest, Knox Hill, and by Bible prophecy, at the end of which the city of 7 hills, okay, will be destroyed. Will this city be Rome, Washington, or some other city? Okay. So this is something that you guys can look um, at on your own. We'll just glance through it. Wessing, okay, and Wessing and Ton. Washing. Oh, okay. I wasn't getting it at first because I should have read the whole thing, but I'm not. Okay. Okay, so meaning of Wessing is Old Anglo-Saxon word for soaking. Again, the flood, okay, represents foreigners flooding a nation. Okay, when you see a group coming towards you, you would say it's a sea of people with their maritime and their admiralty law. Same thing. Okay, it's talking about the rule over those. Okay, you have been displaced. Okay, you don't really have a race, ethnic, a nationality in their world. Okay, this is why you will always be prisoners of, not slaves, but prisoners of war. Okay, and property, a minority. Okay, um somebody that cannot do anything for themselves, so it's done to them. Okay, or steeping, soaking. You know what I'm saying? Remember, we looked at the whole thing with Washington. I think we did it in another portion of this series or whatnot. The German version, washer meaning water. Again, Washington. Even look at Washington. Okay. Um, uh, Oh my goodness, do I have to pull it up? I think I do after this. We'll just finish looking at this. A piece of ground washed by the sea or river. Again, when you are being washed, and they're talking about this whole thing with wash yourself, wash this and what. No, this is talking about whitewashing. I'm sorry I'm just saying you can do what you want to do with the information, but to me, I'm just going to keep. I work too hard, and then I work too hard to try to make it every single thing understandable. I can't do it that way. I have to go with the flow. Okay, we don't ask the pastor or anybody else that's misleading us or the teacher to stop and do it this way and that way. So again, I've been trying to train myself, but I just can't. And I don't mean to be rude or anything. I'm just saying it like that. It just slows me down when I don't do things the way that I know I need to. Okay, a piece of ground washed by a sea or a river, bog, marsh. Same thing with Reed. I think that name Reed was standing out to me because I feel like even on we won't go there. Okay, it has something to do with ancient Egypt. Okay, in the hieroglyphs. Okay, shallow body of water, dry bed of stream. Okay, let's see. Water is an accepted symbol for the word God. Moses name meaning draw out of water. Again, this all goes together. Like you could do what you want with it. Okay, you could do what you want. Okay, waterways, Potomac River, blah blah blah. Okay, just like in the other video I did a while back about the whales. Okay, you can see the great whales that were created, or the um, mouths of some of these rivers look like there an explosion or something happened there in order to open it up so that people can come through. Okay, the word ton comes from, okay, so again, you guys can go ahead and look over this. Hopefully I will not forget to put this link in the description. Matter of fact, let me grab it now. Okay, 5 mounds of London. Okay, oh, here it is. Here's one of them, but this is the one with the scarlet thing in the background. Okay, but again, you know, you got Jacob's ladder, you got some whole bunch of stuff going on down here, but down here underneath his feet, and then here's the black and white checkerboard. I think for the Freemasons and these people to stand on is the darker view and lighter view people that reside in the bottom brick or the bottom layer of the caste system or that pyramid on your bottom of your dollar bill. Okay, which I think the date consists of a very important date for them. Um, Again, I think I did another video on that, and I'm not there right now, so I can't take you there. But underneath his feet on another one, when you see the light behind here, you can kind of see it here, and then the comets and the sun and the moon and all this other stuff. You'll see a casket down here of the dead. Okay, and I think that represents the Aboriginals or the outcast or the undesirable delete people in all of these lands that they came through and whitewashed and watered. Okay, severely. Okay. These are one of the hand gestures that, you know, you see one of those princes over there from the so-called crown doing things like this, like the hand in the jacket and things like this. You just to watch these people when you're looking at them do anything. Any of these old images of them, they're going to be doing something symbolic in it. You know, and like I said, to each his own, how you interpret the information. Okay, let's see. So I don't know. I guess he has a video here. Maybe I haven't watched it yet. Maybe I'll watch it at a later time. But like I said, I'll just put the link below here, so that we can keep moving. Okay. Let's see. I don't think that this is something else I was doing, but I think that I had some. stuff on here to talk to you guys about. Okay, maybe not. Maybe that was the only thing. Maybe it's here. Okay, so again, I find it funny that, Trump himself wouldn't be an American under his new immigration plan. Um, but again, just to go over a couple of these things here, because I thought that this was really strange. Um, let's go here. Okay. Oh, then this is what I was saying, just in case you want to go a little bit deeper into it. Congress woman Kate Hill came to Congress with a powerful commitment to her community and a bright vision for a future. Okay. But then the House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said Thursday that Kate Hill's resignation after nude photos. See what I'm saying? So it's just kind of like it's some kind of sick and twisted acts or something that they're putting on. Continuing this. From all the way back then until now. But now that I don't know, I just feel like people, so-called people or the masses are waking up to a certain extent. And what does this mean? I don't know. Okay. So that's something that I wanted to show. Then I wanted to go ahead and look at this. I was looking up stuff about Andrew Jackson, okay, because he had a lot to do with the Indian Removal Act and things like that. So it says born to command, okay. You see, let's see, a veto memory, okay. Had I been consulted, okay. So you see, all this is symbolic here. Even the eagle. Holding, there's probably something about the world or something in his hand. And then I thought we were talking about something else. Had I been consulted, okay? And then there's a veto, and then he has all this stuff. This is kind of like, reminds me of the symbol for the fire station or the firemen. Or like a Rosicrucian, or I don't know, something. I'm just looking here. But you can see that the Constitution of the United States of America. So I want to go ahead and look, because also what I want to tell you is that when we're talking about, I'm going to go back into some things about they also represent the 7 kings. 5 have already fallen, 6 now reigns, and 7th is yet to come. So I think Andrew Jackson was the 7th, and Van Buren might be the 8th president, but we're just going to go look at that really quick, okay? And then, you'll see this here is a coat of arms of something. I think this might be like a deer, and then the horse. And then it says internal improvements, U.S. Bank, okay? Judicial something, United, I don't know. And then it says King Andrew the First, okay? So, I thought that I had something else for that. Oh, okay. I think, okay, maybe the next one. Okay, let's get rid of this one. So, King Andrew the First, King Andrew the Firstborn to command, okay? Okay? So, this is going to get interesting in a second, okay? King Andrew the Firstborn to command, a king who possesses as much power as his gracious brother, William, okay, the 6th, I guess, makes a worse use of it. A king who has placed himself above the laws, and he has shown by his contempt of our judges, okay? A king who would destroy our currency and substitute old rags payable by no one knows who and no one knows where, instead of good silver dollars. A king born to command, as he has shown himself by appointing men to office contrary to the will of the people. So, contrary to the will of the people, he's been appointing people and putting them in their place. And you see that it said the next will be put. Look at this. His 10 horns are the 10 kings who have not risen to power. They will be appointed to their kingdoms for a brief moment to reign with him. You see what I'm saying? Okay, you see what I'm saying? So look at this, a king born to command, as he has shown himself by appointing men to office contrary to the will of the people. So instead of for the will of the people, he's put men in him. Now, is this good or bad for us? I don't, you know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to put all this together, because usually when somebody's depicted to certain people as a villain, it might have been something else going on, that some of the things they were doing might have looked like it was unjust, but it might be a justifiable reason why they were doing it. And I'm not saying that for a fact. I'm just saying, instead of, they know that we get stricken to anger fast. Okay, we get brought to anger or upset fast, that we don't decipher what we're really reading. Like when there was so-called white men that came and said, American Indian is not a citizen of this world, or this, you know what I'm saying? He was never supposed to be, and all this other stuff. What does that mean? You being a citizen is how they have control. It's like you signing back up to a certain form of modern day slavery. Okay, so what was he really trying to say? Was he trying to protect us from going into this and just having our own thing, or what was really going on? Okay, so a king who, while he was feeding his favorites out of the public money, denied a pittance. Okay. Oh, I thought I just seen something that I just saw we seen in here. Okay, to the old soldiers. Maybe these are the ones of renown. Again, these fallen angels. Again, angels in my eyes represent, most of the time in this book, a form of a militia, or a courier. And this is what etymology says about it as well. Is that there can be considered a courier or something. Then you think about getting wings and all these other things, and the symbolic things that goes along with those three. The earth, I would say the army; the sky, I would say the air force; and then of the sea, the navy. But again, the old soldiers. And again, I'm thinking, are we talking about the ones of renown who fought and bled for our independence? Okay. The king, whose prime minister and heir apparent was thought unfit for the office of the ambassador by the people, shall he reign over us, or shall the people rule? Okay. So we can get rid of that. And then here's something else right here. Okay, so maybe that was that book that he had in his thing. Judiciary of the United States appears to be thrown aside. Okay. So again, this is something that you can look at on your own. I won't get rid of it because I want to take the link. Okay. But this is, I guess, is a narrative of the image that we just looked at there. Okay. So then I will go through the Bible. I'll just say this, and I would look at verses that talk about the third day of. Okay, so if we're in 1832, I would look at I would look at July as being the 7th month. Okay, so on the 7th month of the third day of the 7th month, you know what I'm saying? If it was before the 1800s, you could still do both to see what you can find. Okay. But since it's after the 1800s, I would say that we're dealing with a regular calendar. Anything before the 1800s is questionable to me. So July would be the, let's see, July would be the, where are we? Come on now. The 4th month, I'm thinking maybe the first day would, like, if it's, since it's close to the first day, maybe it would be the 4th or 5th. Okay. Of the Hebrew calendar. Under the TV dresser. And then you might be able to go on with, it might say something about like the 3rd day, of that month, and then it'll say on the 10th of that month. This is how I've been able to find a lot of information. And then the 13th. Wait a minute. This remind me of something else, but it was the 2nd, the 8th, and the 12th on the floor. Okay. So anyhow, something interesting. And then here we go. Um, with this image of him on this horse or whatever. I don't know exactly where the monument is. I was just looking up monuments with him in it. And then we have some for the dome thing here. You know what I'm saying? Um, you know, whatever. Same thing. Here's a couple of depictions or rocks. We talk a lot about rocks. I have something interesting I've been wanting to do for a long time on Mount Rushmore and the measurements that I found that resemble the ones here in the biblical aspect. So there's good stuff that I hope to be bringing soon. So yeah, these were just depictions of him, on his whatever. Okay, so let's go into this real quick. Van Buren. Okay. No, 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 no. I want to go to. No. No. Oh, no. Don't tell me it's not here. Nope. Let me see. No, this is something else I'm working on. If I can't find it here, then I'll probably have to try and think what I typed up to pull it up again. Let's see. List of presidents and coat of arms. Let's see if this is it. Okay, this is it, I think. Okay. So let's just let this load. Okay. So in reference to 9 down, okay, I was thinking George Washington, remember the waters, okay, remember we were talking about this, and he led a militia or form of military before. He was a general before, and then just think about general, and then the gene or genesis or gene term in front of general, and then I just learned about a new level of uh, military presence or something, a brigadier or something. I thought that term. Oh, here it is, brigade, brigadier. I don't know, brigadier. I don't know. Maybe we can peek at that real quick since I just found it right there. But the shield, 2 bars, and the chief 3 whatever rule, for a crest. The raven, see, and again we're sending the raven out. I don't know if that is in here or if that is more in Genesis. That was in Genesis because I'm doing something on Genesis too, where he sent the raven out and then the dove and blah blah blah, and I don't know. I just get all into this kind of stuff. Okay, so yeah. So then you see John Adams, and this is the first. He was the first vice president, and then the second president, and then his son became president later on. Okay, and it says the 6 crosses. This is going to tell more about it. And the other 2 lions, the guardian agent, a lion holding whatever. Because then remember, I think here is talking about that one of these is covering up the lion. Oh, I wanted to go look at who was the lamb too. Oh, see, it's always so much. The lion head erased or something. Okay. The leopard. And then here's the 4th and the 5th. Okay, so what do we talk about here? We say the okay, her residence. Okay. The 6th now reigns. Okay, so I was thinking, are we talking about Adams? Okay. Now, would this mean the same thing if his father? Does this mean he had another run because his father was the president, you know, or you know what I'm saying, but then again, I noticed that if you're at a high enough ranking in something else, we'll go to it in a second, then that's considered already a presence in the president, or it gets you ready to be a president. Then you could be qualified to be picked as president or whatnot. Okay. um but anyway, the sixth now reigns, the seventh is yet to come. So let's see. Wait, what did I just read? I thought I just read something about reigning over here. mm, I don't know. I thought I just seen it here somewhere, but okay, we're not here for that. So it's saying stuff about what's here, this pine tree, all this other stuff, and what it symbolizes. Um, Quincy. Okay, so I guess maybe his name is broken up to a certain extent. Okay. So the sixth now reigns, and the seventh is yet to come. And then you have Andrew Jackson, which would be the seventh. And they don't give him, the coat of arms. We said something about the fifth here. I could have sworn. Okay, but his reign will be short lived. Now we would have to go and see um, how long he reigned, or if he was already in the political circus before becoming president. That also counts towards their rule. I feel like when I'm reading about this in history and in this book, um, military presence also, you know, adds to the life expanse, of their rule or their reign. Um, but anyhow, so this he would be the sixth that's now reigning, and then we also look at this has several others included. You see what I'm saying? Seven masculine conjoined, three. So I don't know about all this other stuff, but there's a lot about him, and it's breaking up a lot, and he has a lot of symbols in here. Um, and I think it doesn't show a lion. I think in this one, oh no, they're in this little things right here. Okay. Okay, so his is going to be short lived. So I don't know. You know what I'm saying? The sixth now reigns. Okay. The seventh is yet to come, but his reign will be brief. Could we be speaking of Jackson, having reigned before as one of the seven? Okay. Having reigned before as one of the seven, after his second reign, he too will go to his doom. So I don't know. Because we're basically talking about the first six or seven, and then we go off to talk about the next 10. Um, oh, wait a minute. Oh, and I don't know why I always get them two mixed up. I don't know why I always get them two mixed up. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What is that? What is that telling me? I don't know. I don't know. I always get those two mixed up. But I don't know, because names and things are changed in order to have them fit into the narrative. So I just don't know. Okay, so he too will go to his doom. His 10 horns are 10 kings who have not risen yet to power. They will be appointed to their kingdoms for one brief moment to reign with him. They will all sign a treaty that gives their power and strength to him. Together they will wage war against the Lamb and whatnot and whatnot and whatnot. Okay. Okay. Oh yeah, it does. See, I missed it right here. I knew it. It was bothering me. So it says 5 have already fallen. And look at this. I was looking at this too. Um, Monroe, and Madison. And they don't get to have a coat of arms either. They don't get to have a, but I know that Adams was connected to one of the very, very first families, along with Washington. So this Adams family and Lincoln family is very, and it's so funny because I'm gonna do another one on them too. When you go down, especially when it goes to Lincoln, when you go through his family tree, dude, everybody in his family tree has the same exact names of everybody from the Bible. Down from the husband. Now you can say that they could be copying the Bible, but then again, the wives have the same names as the biblical wives. So unless you were sitting there saying, no, we have to wait for somebody named Rebecca. We have to wait until a Rebecca comes. You know what I'm saying? Or let's find somebody named Rebecca and make her my wife. It just doesn't sound right. And then we're gonna name our children these, but it just, you know what I'm saying? So like I said, I feel like we're talking about these people in the Bible. These are the people that you're worshiping and falling all over. Are mere men that have written themselves in history, and you worship them that way in their indoctrination stations called schools, and then you're doing the same thing in church. But they have just altered the way, they have already manipulated your mind and altered your perception, so you cannot grasp what we're really talking about in this book unless you really try. Unless you let all that things about God in the sky and the devil underground come in, you have to let it go. You have to denounce the whole thing. Okay. So that's just what happened to me. So I don't know. So anyhow, so it says the fifth had already fallen, but it didn't mention the fourth. Um, you know, and I'm just wondering, these names too mix me up too. But who knows? And then the next 10. Okay. So let's see, the second reign, the seventh, okay, and the eighth is yet to come. So let's go ahead and look at who the eighth was, and that's Van Buren. It says shield, and here's a scarlet. See, it said, what did it say about the eighth? 6 now reigns. The eighth king. Okay, the scarlet animal that died is the eighth king, having reigned before as one of the seven. So again, this is a scarlet beast or a scarlet, thing or whatever, creature. It says per pale. Okay, the shield per pale, or ghouls, or I'm thinking, are those what did it call them? The gull in the Bible, or the Gullum, or you know what I'm trying to say. Okay. Sinister, and in sinister, 2 bars embattled, counter embattled, and counter changed. Okay. So yeah, I don't know what all that is talking about, but after 8, then we're talking about the 10. Okay. Or maybe it's even after 7. Okay. Because there are 7 things on the head. So we'll just do it from Van Buren. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Grant. Okay. And then things must look like they change here, because look at this. Look at this. None of these, you go through this whole list, and it just seems like the ones we're picking out, like the 5th doesn't have a coat of arms. The 7th doesn't get, they have one, but they're not representing them here. Okay. And then now you start off with the 10th. No. And then Zachariah. Zachary. Okay. So, again, he gets to have something, but there's no real coat of arms. It's just this symbol here. Okay. And then the next, no arms. What does that mean? That would be the next 10. So maybe it is from Van Buren. You know what I'm saying? That's the last one we talk about. Okay. And then let's see what happens here. An anvil. Okay. Let's see. More get to have theirs, but there's also a couple here. But I don't think that maybe we could predict that far. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But this is very, I don't know. Just what does it mean? What does it really mean? Okay. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of this one. Um, and then we're going to just go ahead and talk about this. Okay, so fallen, okay, used figuratively for more morally ruined by 1620. Again, are we in the sixth day, okay, of Genesis? Okay, from the verb in a sense, yield to temptation. So they yielded to temptation, especially in reference to a woman and chastity. So again, we know also that a woman could be representing something else also in this here text. Um, okay, meaning those that have died, again, fallen from, okay, again, um, okay, elapsed. These are just related terms. Fallen from faith, okay, a corpse. Again, what is George Washington standing on in that image that I was showing you guys? It might be in part 1 or 2. He's standing on a casket right underneath his feet, and I think the black and white checkerboards represent the foreign entities, the commoners, servants of the pyramid of the heavens or whatever, that are, you know, dark and light in color. Okay, like I said, the outcast or the very bottom that has enmity between their seed, which is the commoners and the peasants and the foreigners, and her seed, meaning the wife that you cleave onto once you leave your mother and father's homeland and you come here to reign on the earth that is here in the Americas. Okay, so again, you're leaving something and you're cleaving on, meaning you're an immigrant or an immigrant then, okay? Because you've left your place knowing that you were going to go root yourself or, into another place, but you had to make sure you already seeded it with you see what I'm saying? This is when population breeding and things were going on, okay? While they're out setting you aside and putting you out of your misery, okay? So, to fall in body, okay? What kind of body? A body of Christ? You know what I'm saying? So let's see. Ruthless, pity, compassion has fallen from the sense of 17th century. Again, these are all terms you can look at on your own. So let's see. In 1776, okay, so I was looking at the Poland. I can't remember why. I don't know if it was the coat of arms. Let's look at lamb, coat of arms with lambs. Because they were coming to go with or against the lamb. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Who? Puerto Rico? Ah, is it? Oh, but then they have a lot of other ones around them. They're coming with a lot of other sons, kings of the earth. Hold on, let's see if this could be something. That's a lamb. Who else? Let's look at heraldry with the lamb. I don't want to get distracted too much, but crest. Yeah, I will have to go too deep into it, and y'all know how I get when I start doing that. We're not gonna get nowhere. So anyways, in 1776, whoever this person is moved to North America, where he took part. So this would call him leaving his mother and father or his fatherland or whatever, and coming to cleave on to his wife. And a wife comes with gifts and land allotments and all of these other things that you're going to cleave to. Okay. The American Revolutionary. So these came against somebody to fight with somebody. Let's look at one more thing. Oh, dang it. Mm, nope, not getting it. Not getting it. Where were we? Oh, okay. I'll look at some more stuff. Okay. Defeat whatever uprising in November led to Poland's third partition in 1795, what ended the Polish whatever 123 years. So again, that's reminding me of, and this person lived for 120 something years, and this and that and that. It usually has something to do with rain in my eyes. I don't know. Oh, okay. So here's a couple of them that we could look at. Um, Lithuania, these and this and whatever else. Okay, to see if we can find something more on that. I'm just pointing things out. Okay. So let's see if there was anything else I want to talk about. Oh yeah, and so let's see. Van Buren was an American statesman who served as the eighth president from 1837 to 41. Again, that would be a short reign. Okay, that would be a short rule in my eyes. Okay. Um, he was the first president born speaking language in other than English. Oh, let's see what the Dutch is. Let's see. I don't know if it's going to be the same thing as his other thing. Okay, they have the horn. Okay, which reminds me of the horn on some of the soldiers of antiquities. I'm not that good to name which wars. Lamb, lion, sing. Okay, maybe not still. Okay. Um, Goodness, where were we at? See, this how I'm. When I'm looking, this is what happens. Okay. Okay. So, oh, here we are. Okay. And the firstborn after the United States had declared its independence. So again, United States will be a separate entity from America in my eyes at this point. You know what I'm saying? So um 12 tribes, um or troop, different generals, different troops, different, I don't know. I'm just seeing something differently. Okay. So it says independence from Great Britain, a founder of the so he was the founder, okay, of the a founder of the Democratic Party. He had previously served as the ninth governor. So, okay, in this position, would gear him more towards being president. Okay, it would help him, you know, get to that point. The 10th United States. So, he was the ninth governor. Okay, but that's still making me think about him reigning in some kind of way before. But that would still be after. Well, it could have, the ninth governor could have been before he was the eighth president. You see what I'm saying? That position could have been before that. Well, was before that. So again, that could be probably what it said, that he reigned before in the first seven, and now he's back. So he could have been doing work in that department. Okay, when things were chopped up more by governors and stuff. Okay, um, and then later on came back. The 10th United States Secretary of State, the 8th Vice President. Okay. And that's what I was going to say too, guys. That for some reason, one great light to rule the day and one to rule the night. For some reason, I don't know, I'm just getting this thing of, is the president there to basically do things for, and that's why sometimes your vice president can become the president in a sense. Is he there to, I don't know, give all of his energy for improvement to the living creatures or the waters or the foreigners, where the vice president is supposed to rule over and make sure everything stays whatever with the, because they both have work to do, but we don't pay that much attention to the vice president as we do the president. And I don't know. I just don't know. I I'm just saying if that's to rule over the earth. So while the president is up here talking head, doing all these symbols over your head, talking to the living, and you're thinking you're included and you should have rights and all this other stuff, the vice president's back in the background doing what? You know what I'm saying? Let's just say if he was over the dark. You know what I'm saying? Erasing file. I'm just joking, but I'm just kind of serious. But, you know, I don't know. He won the 1836 presidential election, blah, blah, blah. Popular outgoing president, Andrew Jackson, and the okay, wait a minute. He won the 1836 presidential election with the endorsement of a popular, okay, so he was endorsed by Andrew Jackson. So again, this goes back to Andrew Jackson appointing people that he wanted, like it says in here, appointing kings to their, you know, positions, okay? Okay, and the organization's strength of the Democratic Party, he lost his 1840 re-election bid to the Whig Party nominee William Henry Harrison. Okay, so again, he lost the 1840. So was that another short reign? I'm trying to think. This in part to the poor economic conditions surrounding the Panic of 1837. Later in his life, he emerged as the elder statesman, important and anti-slavery leader, abolitionist, abolitionist. I always get mixed up. Okay, who led the Free Soil Party. Again, what the hell is the Free Soil Party? I'll have to look more into that. Because that's something, you know, you might hear about the wig, you might hear about all these other things, but I've never really heard about this one. Okay, so I'm saving that one for later. Let's see. There was something that I wanted to look at, though, here with him that I think I clicked on separately about him. Let's see. No. Let's see if it was a let's see if I maybe took a screenshot of it. Okay, the governor of New York, okay, is the head of government. Okay, so he's the head of government. And this is the position that they were saying he was in before he became president. So I'm wondering if this counts as him possibly being the one that was gone and came back or whatnot that we're talking about. Having reigned before as one of the seven. Okay. After his second reign, he too will go to his doom. So after he came back again, he'll go to his doom. And I'm wondering if that's after he came back as president. So first as head of government during the reign of those first seven. And then he came back then as president and then ended up, going out however he went out after that. The governor is the head of the executive branch. Okay, now that's a branch. Now, is this at the right hand or the right arm or the right something? I don't know. I just thought to ask that. New York State government, commander in chief, and of the state's military and naval forces. Okay. So the current governor is Andrew whatever, a Democrat who took office in January 1st. The governor has duties to enforce state laws and power to either approve or veto bills passed by the New York State legislature, to convene the legislature and to grant pardons, okay, except in the case of treason or impeachment, okay, so that, like Trump right now, okay. Unlike the other government departments that compose the executive branch of government, the government is the head of the state of executive departments. The office holder is afforded the courtesy style of His or Her Excellency while in office. The governor of New York, okay, let's see. The governor of New York is often considered a potential candidate for president of the United States, okay? Let's see this. 10 governors. You see this? Throughout history, 10 governors have been major party candidates for president. And four, and four, Van Buren, okay, Cleveland, Roosevelt, this Roosevelt, well, I don't know if they're kin or not, whatever, have won, okay, so four, four, Van Buren, Cleveland, Theodore, Franklin, won. 6 New York governors have gone on to serve as vice presidents. Additionally, 2 governors of New York, John J. I don't know if this is Rockefeller, I don't know, and Charles Evans Hughes have served as Chief Justice of the United States. Under the New York Constitution, a person must be 30 years of age, a United States citizen, and resident of the state of New York at least 5 years prior to being elected to serve as governor. The office of governor was established by the first New York Constitution. Now, I wonder if this is the thing that we're talking about that they all signed. I can't click it because it's a screenshot right now. Yeah, I don't know. Here's something right here. Oh, and I can't click it. Wait, let's see how many we can see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so it looks like there's 12 signatures on there. So let's see. They will all sign a treaty giving their power to him. Okay, so again, it doesn't give a number of who was going to sign the treaty giving their power to them. Okay? Powers and duties. Okay? To concede with the calendar year. Okay? So what does this mean? In 1777, to concede with the calendar year. And 3 years, 4 years, blah, 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 blah. Okay, that's it. So, yeah. The Constitution of New York, who acts as president and senate, same term, keeping the same term lengths as the governor throughout the constitutional revisions, originally in the event of death, resignation, impeachment, or of the governor or absence from the state. The lieutenant governor would take on the governor's duties and powers. Okay, since 1938 Constitution, the lieutenant governor explicitly becomes the governor upon such vacancy in the office. Very interesting. To give all powers to him, huh? Should the office of lieutenant governor become vacant, the president's whatever state senate. Okay, so you guys see where I'm going with this. I hope so. I hope you see. And I didn't want to make this too long, but I guess it did maybe go a little bit long. I wonder what this is. Is this a dove? Because it's just making me think about the dove that was sent out. Because I'm telling you that I already did some stuff on the Addams Family, if you want to go back. But I'm wondering if this is like a dove or something that is representing one of those birds that was sent out when the ark was being made. Which I think the ark is something totally different. But again, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I don't think that there's anything else that I would like to add to this. So it doesn't be too long. I want to thank you guys for stopping by, and please go ahead and, if there's a portion that you feel is more important, or you can get to the point better than I can by, adjusting the video in some way, then maybe, someone can take clips or whatever I'm saying to share with other people to just pique their interest. Because again, it would be nice if others, could see this, and that if we could kind of like, compare notes or whatever. So again, when you start looking at these family trees going way, way back, Abigail, John, it just really is mind blowing. So the next thing will be probably something on that. Okay. So again, thank you guys for watching and take care.